Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, January 10th, 2018. This is episode 39 of the Dry Spellcast. My name's Matt. I'm joined by Austin.
Hello.
And we are back in the University Pulse radio station for the first time in 2018. How exciting is that? How is your 2018 so far, Austin?
Uneventful, which is good compared to the start of last year was not good. So, remember I almost died. I slid off the freeway.
Oh, yeah, I guess I do remember that.
I got that little lovely reminder on Facebook. 1 year ago today. That was fun.
That sounds great.
So far 2018's been okay.
Yeah, I mean,
we're 10 days into it?
Yes.
So
10 days exactly. And for fair warning, I'm seeing lights go off. Mm-hmm. So there is a good chance we are going to get a fire alarm. That's I keep seeing that blinking white light, like a fire alarm. So if that happens, I guess we evacuate. But if it doesn't, then we continue.
No, we keep going.
Yeah.
I don't quit till I see fire.
That's a good rule of thumb, really. As somebody who grew up in a town that was in a high school when it started on fire,
yep.
That is a great rule of thumb. My high school burned down when I was a kid. And that's really fascinating thing.
You were a freshman, right? Because I think I was in eighth.
Yes.
I think I remember it when I was in 8th grade. I was like, oh my God, Middleton's burning down.
I was either a freshman or a sophomore because I was there for 0 hour. I don't remember when I started doing that. But we were the only ones in the building when the boiler exploded and almost killed us all. But that was a wild time, man. We got 2 weeks off. And then we had to come back, and the school was all those little portables because some of the school was salvaged, and so we could go to that, but the rest of it was burned, and so a lot of our classes were in portables, and that was a really crazy time. That's a weird part of my history. So how many people get to say that? I remember we went to Hawaii, for that spring break, and it was 2 months before, because I think it burned down in February. And I remember talking to some people in Hawaii that knew about it. And that was one of those moments that's oh, that's kind of crazy then.
Oh,
how many people do actually, how often does that happen? I mean, how often does anything like that big burn down in all reality? So, that's cool. Anything else going on in your life?
Not anything I should really need to talk about, I guess. Just kind of my same old life. New Year, same me.
Yeah, I kind of took the whole New Year thing to heart this year, and I guess it was less of a New Year and more of a I now have to buy health insurance. And so I figure I should be an adult at some point in my life. And what's a better time to start than now? So I have been trying to wake up early and go to bed fairly consistently. I know, it's crazy. I have been brushing my teeth twice a day.
Yeah, I mean, probably should have been doing that.
I should have been doing that
to
anyways,
start with.
But I'm an adult now. I at least once a day. I'm flossing for the first time.
See, I like
since
to floss.
Going to college.
I like to floss.
I don't know if I like to floss as much as I know that I should be flossing, and so I should try it. I don't know. I don't know a lot of people that actually floss on a regular basis.
I wouldn't say I do it on a regular basis. I do it semi-regularly though, because I got the retainer on my bottom of my teeth.
Right, I do as well.
So I need to floss that.
But that's the hard part.
Well, you gotta. It's
gotta get in there.
It's like a challenge. You gotta get the little thing and string it through and.
Yeah, stringing it through is the worst part. And the dentist makes it feel so easy because they can pull it back and keep it in there and do all of your teeth while threading it through once. I've never been good at that.
I usually do it. Sometimes it breaks though on my retainer. I'll floss, and when I'm trying to bring it to another tooth, it catches on something. And
But that's at least it's
snaps.
like the floss is breaking and not your
My
retainer.
retainer.
That's what like my biggest concern is. I have one of those like removable retainers somewhere in my life.
Oh, I haven't worn that since high school.
Yeah, and I don't know where it is.
I was supposed to wear it all the way through senior year, and then I stopped probably about right 6 months after I got my braces off.
Oh, I was really good. I was really good because I had braces for 6 years and I didn't want to go through that again.
Wow.
That was a nightmare. My childhood sucked. Actually, so I can remember the exact point where I got braces because I got braces and I got glasses at the same time. I was in fourth or third grade. And I remember I felt terrible. Like I hated my life because both of these things happened to me at the same exact time. And I'm like, I'm going to be a nerd forever. And I hated everything about it.
And now look at you.
I was right. Nothing's changed in my life. Oh. So yeah. So those of you who are joining us for the first time in 2018, well, actually, everybody's joining us for the first time in 2018, but the first time ever you chose to do it in 2018, we actually talk about video games. Like that's our thing. I know it's hard to tell
Yeah,
so far.
don't let the braces and fires and stuff fool you,
But we talk about video games and video game related things. So that's what we're going to do for the next couple of hours. We do appreciate people that interact with us during this time. There's a couple ways you can do that. First of all, we are on Twitter at DrySpellRadio. You can find us on Facebook.com/DrySpellRadio. And dryspellradio@gmail.com. If you send us anything during the show, I will look at it and decide if it's worthy to read. It usually is. I've got very little things that I thought, we shouldn't do that. So go ahead and send things those way. If you're listening to the podcast version of this, which comes out usually a day later, 90% of the time a day later, that you can still contact us through those ways. I do make those notes. And so if you have any questions for us, comments, corrections, that's where you want to send those things. But before we do that, let's talk about some news. So the Overwatch League starts tonight. Or at least the first official season of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited for it. I am really excited for it.
I know you are. You create a whole group party thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to have a watch party on Friday, which you should come to.
I probably will be there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a super exciting thing. Just we'll see how it works. That's the big thing that I'm more interested in seeing than, I think Overwatch is a great game. I like Overwatch. I like playing Overwatch. We'll see how much I actually enjoy watching Overwatch. But it's a cool experiment in the way, quote unquote, esports are done. And so I'm excited to see if it works. Because if there's enough following, then, these people can start building arenas in their own towns and they can start hosting other teams. And I think that that's a really exciting prospect for the world of esports. Because up until now, it's just kind of been it has its following, but it's never felt like it's permeated the brain of the normal public. And so I think that this, especially given that these are teams from different regions or different cities, kind of like the NFL, NBA, stuff like that does, I think that there's a potential here for it to be kind of cool that you get behind a team, you buy jerseys, you follow them, you go to a local bar, you watch those teams.
Like real
play.
sports.
Yeah, like a real sport.
Go sports team.
Yay, go sports. Yay, sports.
I like sports. I don't care who knows.
Yes. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
And especially like, so I don't know, I follow sports kind of on the fringes, like traditional sports. Like I know who basketball teams are and I watch some baseball. And like I used to watch quite a bit of football. But this year, I think the most I saw of a football game is I watched the national championship on Monday for the NCAA.
Boo.
And it just, there is something about football that has been incredibly disappointing this year. Like, there has been nothing that has made me want to watch these games. And I don't know what it is. Papa John's thinks that it's because the players kneel during the national anthem, and it's not that.
Well, I mean, there was a huge protest because of that, and like they did lose millions of dollars because people protested everything about the NFL.
Right. Well, people protest everything the NFL does, period. I mean, people protest everything, period. That's just what people do. But I don't know, there was just something about this year. I think the games go on too long, to be honest. I think football should cut a quarter and have it 3 periods. I think the games go on too long. Way too long. I think that's a good place to start. And I don't know. It needs to be more offense-driven because, I don't know, it's just not fun to watch anymore. So I'm looking to fill that void in my life. And as somebody who understands Overwatch, like, maybe this will do it for me. I know it won't for everybody, but maybe it will for me. So if you are interested in the Overwatch League, like I said, it starts tonight, and I'm excited for that. You can go in the game and get new skins for the teams. They give you so they've introduced a new loot system, as all great games should. And this one is just Overwatch League credits. And you use these credits to buy skins for your favorite characters and stuff. So I went and they give you 100 free credits, will get you a skin for a character. And so I got my my Reinhardt skin because I play more Reinhardt than I do anything else. And yeah, it looks good.
What team are you?
I went for the Los Angeles Valiant.
That's right. Okay.
I like the green. I'm a fan of green, but I think that they look good, and it's kind of interesting watching the beginning of a sport. No other point in my lifetime have I watched a sport just start, and so it's kind of cool to have to sit down and just randomly decide, oh, this is the team I'm going to root for.
I know. That's what I was saying. I'm like, it's not jumping on a bandwagon or anything. It's like you're literally just picking someone.
Yeah, unless you know the teams that have played, the players that have played for different teams over the past couple of years. I mean, there is nothing else to choose from other than, oh, I like this color, or I like this city, and that's how you decide. And until you watch these guys play for a year or more, how else are you going to decide what team you like? So I'm just kind of all right, this is the team I'm going to watch, this is the team I'm going to support, and we'll see what goes from there. We'll see after a year if I still enjoy watching them play. I might not. Who knows? And you're going for Boston, correct?
Boston Uprising, yep.
Which I followed. So there's an Overwatch League app out now, and you can follow different teams on it. So I followed Valiant, the San Francisco team, and I think that's it. But it's happening. We got to take a break. We will be right back. Okay, so speaking of Overwatch, while we're still on this topic, since we were gone for a couple of weeks, we've got a lot of stuff to catch up on. So the first thing I want to catch up on is Jeff Kaplan, the game director for Overwatch, sat in front of a fire on Twitch for a day, and thousands of people watched him as he did nothing. He just sat in front of a fire. And it wasn't even a real fire. It was a TV fire.
Mm-hmm.
He just sat in front of it. And thousands upon thousands of people tuned in.
Did you watch it?
I mean, I watched some of it.
Oh.
Because it was hilarious. It was so meme-worthy. So I watched some of it. So there were a couple of moments that happened that were kind of like funny. At one point, he got hit by a boom mic, which was just stupid. And then resumed just sitting there and didn't say anything. Just got hit by the boom mic. And then at one point,
which is funny, they had a boom mic because nothing was going.
Right, there was no audio. I mean, there was audio record. They're recording the fire, but you could tell it was just like stupid. Like they weren't using that mic for anything. And then there's another moment where he got a present. He opened the present and turned it around, and it was a framed picture of Genji with the words, "I need healing."
That's good.
He just looked at the screen, kind of did that, okay, and then just resumed sitting there. And the people ate this up. It makes me question the worthiness of the internet. Like it just happened. But speaking about the break, Austin,
Mm-hmm.
I am assuming you played some video games over the break.
A little bit.
What were those?
I mean, I was trying to catch up on other games I started, Assassin's Creed and whatnot. But I did pick up a couple games for the Steam sale. Mainly, excuse me, the big one was Night in the Woods, which I know if anyone wants to watch our Game of the Year podcast that we have or video, whatever, that made our list. So
yes, I argued very, very highly for this game.
yeah, I mean, you put it higher than I would have put it, but I enjoyed the game. Maybe because you're just connect better to an angsty millennial. I don't know.
Maybe.
I connected to it because I understood what May was going through. I mean, for someone who's kind of quit college twice and come back.
Are you in college right now?
Yes.
Okay.
No, after my freshman year, and then after I did another year. I took a semester off, and I did a year, and then I took a whole other year off.
Remember? Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I kind of understand like what the character May is feeling because I feel like I've been there, but I don't know. It's a cute game. I love the art style. I love the characters. I need to get more into the game. I feel like I'm on the second act or whatever.
Okay.
I'm not super far. I'm far enough to like get a grasp of like what the game is. It's fun. It's cute. I like the music. The characters are
The
good.
music's really good in that game.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm enjoying it. I want to play it more. I haven't hooked up my computer since I've been home, so.
Yeah, so I mean, I liked this game a lot, and I don't know how far you are.
I'm trying to think where I've been. Like the last thing I did, and I don't really remember. I was climbing on wires.
Yeah, well, that could happen at any point. Have you gotten to the point where you start picking who you want to adventure with?
Yeah, I picked B
Okay.
the first time. I went to the mall with B.
Okay, you went to the mall with her.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so my favorite parts of the game happen after that point. So once you start becoming friends with Bia again, I really started liking her as a character.
Mm-hmm.
Because I came in and, when you first meet Greg, it's very much like, oh, you're going to love this character to death. Especially like when he gets happy and he does that like arm flappy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so awesome. Greg is just such a great character. But when you start becoming friends with Bia again, there is a scene later in the game where you go to a party with her. And she tells you basically her life story. And that was such a fantastic moment. And anybody who grew up in a small town who could never find the strength to leave can sympathize with her. And because, like everybody says like, oh, it's just easy to get up and leave a town. But for a lot of people, it's not. And, a lot of people get pushed on like all these family responsibilities. And so I like just hearing her, not hearing, but reading her, whatever, like go through that, I thought was a really like powerful moment. And then Greg later, I didn't get any chance, like I didn't hang out with Angus at all, and which makes me want to go back and play that game again because I want to see his story, because I know like Jason played it and he said his story is just like terrible, like super sad. And so I want to know like Angus a little bit more, but Greg has this moment where you can go with him and he kind of talks about his relationship with Angus, and like that was just one of the more real moments I think I've felt in a video game in a very long time, if ever. There was just something about that fear that he felt that I thought was really, really fantastic, and really well done. There's something that you could tell that the creators have gone through and have felt. And that's why I love this game so much. I didn't play it until break, but it was a fantastic game. So,
yeah, I need to play more of it. I like it so far though. I was kind of just like, because you're saying how great it was. I picked it up. I'm like, oh, it's fine. I was kind of enjoying it. It wasn't like blowing me away like how you felt, until like I started getting to like like the whole rhythm section game, part mini game, and then like there's like a dungeon crawler mini game. It's like, oh, there's a lot more this game has to offer, and it's kind of fun.
The little like mini games that keep you interested, I think, are really super cool. Mm-hmm. Just because they feel out of nowhere, and it just feels like, oh, okay, they just did that for no real good or reason. I thought that was cool.
So that was one that played. Another one I picked up was Golf with Your Friends.
Yes, and we golfed with our friends.
We did golf with our friends, and that game's really, really fun.
That game is something.
It's just for anyone who loves mini golf games, which I've always have enjoyed. You'll like it, and if you didn't pick it up for the Steam sale, I'm sorry, because it's for a good price. I'd still recommend picking it up because it's a lot of fun. It's still in early access, so
and you can tell,
but in the future, obviously, you'll have more maps. You'll have player-created maps and stuff, and I think it'll be a pretty good game eventually. It's a lot of fun now. We had a ton of fun playing it over break. So
yeah, it's cool. It's definitely like it's cool to play these maps that are like impossible to do in real life, right?
Yeah.
And getting like the mechanics of the game down are really super simple, but the maps can be ridiculously challenging,
and especially if you get yourself in a really bad spot.
Mm-hmm. Just like mini golf, but like said, at like a level that is impossible for humans to do.
Because if like speed runs on the course to make your ball go faster and stuff. Obviously, you don't have that in real mini golf unless you have put conveyor belts or something in there.
Right. So we played this a little bit when you weren't there, and we played around with some of the other modes. So there's a low gravity mode.
Yeah, I've done all that stuff too.
And that was just absolutely ridiculous.
But then there's the high bounce mode too. So when your ball hits something, it just flies, and it's just. I did that with low gravity and
And did you do the random shapes?
Yes.
Oh my god, that was awful.
Yeah, there's a mode where you become random shapes and like
cones.
So you can set it so everyone has the same. Or it's just random for everyone. There's cones, there's cylinders, there's cubes, there's
a star.
There was
an ornament.
Yeah, there's an ornament. And then there's a really lumpy golf ball.
Yeah.
I think a pine cone was one. It's really
yes, there's the pine cone.
It's good. It's really funny. It's really infuriating because like sometimes when you're like that shape, you cannot beat the course.
Right, because you can't like get enough momentum to go off ramps and stuff.
Like there's literally like one where like I remember like you had to go off a ramp and like bounce yourself off a pillar and to land on like the thing somewhere else. And like I was a cone, so like I would go and then it just shoot me off to like one direction, and I wouldn't miss the pillar, or I'd hit the pillar and just fly out. It was bad.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean and that's a wild game. I think it's really well done so far. I'm excited to see what they have to offer. This has the potential to be like one of those pinball games where they're just constantly like giving you new maps and stuff. So
Yeah, I wonder how quick they'll put like new maps up. I mean, they have a fair amount of maps as it is already,
for sure.
So,
but I mean, it's in early access, so we'll see what they do with that game.
Yeah, I look forward to it. And speaking of early access, no more. I played PUBG.
Yes,
we played several rounds of that. On the official 1.0 release, and I've noticed changes. It's good. The game is obviously a lot better. It
looks a lot better.
It looks better. It plays better. There's still some weird things going on, but
yeah, and the new map's out, and the new map, it forces you to play a different way than you can in the original.
Yeah, because the original map, I mean, the open areas still have like tall grass you can hide in and like wheat fields and like. But on the new map, open areas are literally just desert.
Yeah, there's
nothing to hide.
There's nothing to hide.
And it's always nerve-wracking when I get down to like the top 5. Like it happens several times. I'm like, and the circle ends up across the like on the other side of where I'm at. I'm like, well, I'm dead because there's no way I'm going to get there without being seen.
Yeah, I have had several matches where I was in like the top 10, and where it closes around you, and there's like it's like this kind of like rocky, hilly area, and you just know like the minute everybody's going to see each other, and you just know it's going to happen, so you know that it's going to come down to how well you shoot. And it's made me like realize that like what we started doing where we were jumping into super crowded areas and learning how to shoot, that needs to happen more often. So like I've started trying to get a couple matches in a day where I literally just jump into the most crowded area I can find. I basically just watch to see where everybody is jumping and just jump out then and just follow the parachutes down and just try to find a gun and just get in as many firefights as I possibly can. Like if I don't die in like the like first 20 or 30 deaths, like then I'm not doing what I'm trying to accomplish.
I mean, unless you're getting all the kills.
Yeah, which I have started doing as well. Like I've started getting better at killing in that game, which for a game that is all about killing is a good thing.
Yep. So I got no chicken dinners. Got second and third several times.
I still have no chicken dinners.
I know we got like second and third
several times
on squad, and then I know Jesse and myself got second and third a couple times on just duos in the first person servers, which is different.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the first person.
I like first person for like
I get dizzy
certain things, but then I don't know. Like I feel like I shoot better in that game in third person.
Yeah, I honestly feel sick when I play first person.
Yeah, it's like a weird thing I used to for like a second.
Yeah, it's just like there's just something about it that makes me feel sick. I don't know. There's something about that motion. So I try to avoid first person when I can, unless everybody I'm playing with wants to play it, then I'll do it. I don't know. I still want to play like their zombie mode.
Yeah, I've never played that actually, and it's. I mean, is it still just in test servers or?
Well, it's in the custom. It's all custom, and so I want to I keep opening the custom games, hoping to find one, and I can never find one because you have to be given the right to start a custom game, and so I really want to play those, but there's never seems to be anything happening when I want to. And so I don't know, like I wish that I could try that mode out because up to currently I haven't been able to. So well, cool. We need to take a break, and when we come back we've got more video game stuffs. All right, so let's talk about some games that I played this year or this over break. So I tried to finish up some of the backlog that I was working on. So I finished The New Order. Finally.
I did play a little bit of that, you're right, and I haven't finished it yet. I'm underwater. I got the U-boat.
You got the boat. Okay. Yeah, you are getting really close to the end. And yeah, I finished that. I enjoyed it. It's a stupid fun game. I still haven't started the new Colossus, which is on my first of 2018 list.
Did you pick it up? Or
yes,
you
I
had
have
it on
it.
console, right?
Yeah, I bought it for my PlayStation. And so I'm gonna probably play that soon. I've also started Nier, and that game is going to eat my life for a while. I'm aware of that, and I'm really enjoying it. I can sit down and play a couple hours and not even feel it. I'm really enjoying that game.
Are you feeling it, Mr. Krabs?
Mr. Krabs is feeling it, and I don't know. It doesn't seem like a game that I would normally really enjoy. It's kind of that hack and slash, over the shoulder.
Well, it's a game that's going to take you more than 30 hours. So
it is,
which is not really your style of.
And that's just the first ending. There's 26 of them.
Yeah,
but I don't know. There's just something about it that I'm really enjoying. So I look forward to getting farther into that. I haven't touched it in a couple days. I need to get back on it. I rearranged my room, and so I haven't plugged a lot of my stuff back in yet. And I may have dropped my PlayStation, but I'm sure it's fine. We'll see. Hopefully it's fine.
Good Lord.
But we'll see how that goes.
You broke a hard drive or something.
That would suck. Actually, I would be fine breaking a hard drive. Because I would just replace it. The console's the expensive part.
Yeah.
Everything else is downloadable.
I mean, do you still have the original hard drive in there anyways?
Yes.
Oh, well.
That's why I constantly delete games.
Yeah, I just wouldn't. I mean, the 2 terabyte was nice, and I bought that a while ago. So
Yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna buy a hard drive to put more games on, it's gonna be PC. So.
Right, Mr.
Because I'm not gonna buy discs for my PC.
That's true.
I could still have games on a disc on PlayStation, and yeah, there's usually downloads on top of that, but that's never gonna happen on PC. And also the variety on PC is so much higher that it's better. So yeah, I have been working through Nier. I played the first maybe 2 hours of Persona 5.
Oh, you did pick that up too?
I did not pick it up, but I played it at Jason's.
Oh, okay.
That game is stylish as hell. I seem to think that I would enjoy it. I just don't know if I'm willing to commit at this point because I also want to finish Horizon. So right now I have Horizon, Nier, and Wolfenstein that I have to finish before the first big release of the year.
Which is
Monster Hunter World.
Oh, that comes out March, right?
No.
Or February?
Yes.
I don't know.
I meant to copy a list on here. But yeah, that comes out soon. It may even be this month.
Is it?
Yeah, so I don't know. I need to get those things done before then. But also, I started Cuphead. But Cuphead, for me, is one of those games that I can play for 15, 20 minutes and put down for a day. And, still feel like I got a lot out of the experience. And that is how I have had to play that game because I get frustrated so easily.
Yeah, Cuphead's something else.
It is. I finally got a controller scheme that I'm really enjoying. And so...
Yeah, that's the one thing is you got to figure out where you want your buttons because obviously you don't play the keyboard on that game.
No.
And then the controller scheme that it starts with is just bad.
Yeah, and I didn't even try it. I think I went through the tutorial once and thought, this sucks.
Yeah, I didn't try it either.
So, I put shooting on the right trigger.
Yeah.
I put the secondary shoot on the left trigger. I put change weapons on the right bumper. So, all of my weapons are right up there. I put like the diagonal shooting on circle, which I actually changed after I had beaten a couple bosses because I decided it wasn't working.
I think I put my diagonal shooting on the left bumper, L2.
I tried that originally, but then I hit a boss where I wanted to shoot my secondary at an angle, and so I couldn't do both of those at the same time. And so that's kind of why I switched that. And I figured, like, I'm not going to be jumping when I'm doing the diagonal, which is what I'm trying to keep my right thumb doing, is just jumping and dashing some moves, basically. I realized after beating, like, the first boss, the most important upgrade I needed was that one where you don't take damage when you dash.
Yes. Oh, I got that.
Oh my god, I don't even know how you play that game without that.
I know. Like I was losing to a boss so bad. It was like there's that blue bouncy guy. I don't know. If
the first one.
And
I know.
Well, that wasn't my first. That wasn't my
me.
first guy. But like,
yeah?
that was the second boss I went. The first one was the carrot and the onion people,
which was so much easier than that blue guy.
Yeah, and I went to the blue guy and I was just getting so frustrated. I was like, oh, it's like I was getting my dashes fine, but then like it'd be like in a really weird spot where like I would like get jammed up and he'd still get me. No, and then I went to the shop just finally and like saw that was a thing. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yes.
And then I beat them, and then I went and beat him first try.
Yeah, I beat him on the simple mode without that dash, and then it took me getting that to beat him on the regular mode. Right now, I'm trying to get the boat pair, or did I beat them? No, I beat them on simple, but I haven't beat them on regular because they turned into the slot machine, and that slot machine is destroying me. I don't know. That game is fantastic. Like said, I don't have to be winning to really enjoy that game, which is something that is tough for me, but that art is so good and that music is so good that I want to keep like looking at it, and that's why I keep doing it. Like the first run and gun I did took me probably an hour. Just
that
repeated.
first run and gun was tough.
Oh my god!
But then it got a lot better when I mean, I was an idiot and was playing on the keyboard still.
Yeah, I never even tried on keyboard.
Because I actually beat the first boss on keyboard.
Jeez.
I'm an animal.
You're a master PC gamer. So I'm looking at picking up a Xbox controller and trying it with that because I've been using my DualShock. But considering it came out on Xbox, I kind of want to see what it feels like on that.
I still don't think there's a good controller scheme on the PC version though. That's from what I hear.
No, or on the console version.
Yeah, like I heard just bad.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would map my own keys.
Yeah.
Which is what I did anyways. But I don't know, the controllers nowadays are very similar in a lot of ways. The main thing is the Xbox controller is a little bit bigger, and your analog sticks are on a different plane. That's the main thing. But I don't know. I want to try that with an Xbox controller and see how it feels. I haven't played with a good Xbox controller in a while. I was at Best Buy last night playing around with their controllers because I just wanted to feel it in my hands.
You're weird. Okay.
But I also bought a new mouse last night. That's why I was there originally. Yeah. I bought the G520 something 500. I don't know. 205, 250, something like that. It's the Proteus something. It's good.
Logitech, right?
Yeah. I played a bit with it last night and seemed to really enjoy it. Now I need to get my GPU and my keyboard all to flash the same RGB colors at the same time. Oh boy, here we go. Now I looked at keyboards too, but it's going to cost me $100 to upgrade my keyboard because I have very specific requirements for what a keyboard must be able to do.
Gotta have your hotkeys, right?
Yes, you have to have your hotkeys, and also I know exactly what keyboard I'm going to get, and it's going to cost me $100. So I'm gonna wait a little bit before I do that. But yeah, I think that's all I really played. I mean, I played a lot of games. Still, I'm really close to beating Hellblade. So I will finish that within probably the next week. That's one of those that it's kind of taxing to play. So I like sit down and like can only play it for like a half an hour at a time.
I think I beat it in like 2 days.
Yeah, I know it's super short. I just can't.
Oh, it's not even like super short. It was still like about 10 hours, but like I just sat down and I could not stop playing it.
I have such a hard time doing that. I'm enjoying it. I'm really liking the game. It's just really tough for me.
Well, didn't we give that like number 3?
Yeah, it was number 3 on our list.
Yeah, I mean, if for anyone who hasn't played that game, like I really recommend.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. So I think that's about it. But while we're talking about peripherals, let's talk about CES a little bit, because CES is going on right now. And there has been a few things to come out. I don't know, CES is kind of, in my opinion, a shell of what it used to be. It's kind of just like, I can't say that on air. I have to figure out how to rephrase that. I don't know. It's like it's a measuring contest to see who has the biggest ideas.
I think we figured it out.
And I don't know. Like, it's funny because you look at like what Razer brings every year. Last year, they brought that 3-screen laptop. Most of them are just prototypes that are never going to actually see the light of day. They just want to be like, hey, look what we thought of. And that's fine. But I don't know. For a consumer electronics show, you think consumers would think about, like, I can't remember who put it out, but there's a 150-inch TV that they showed at this that rolls up.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's not a consumer electronic.
Or like when Sony unveiled their $30,000 like 4K projector.
Yeah.
What?
Like it was gonna do. There are 8K TVs now.
Yep, I saw that.
They showed off. But I guess the big things that maybe are consumer things, like Razer did show off Project Linda, which is a laptop that has a phone dock in it, which has happened before, but they are making the phone like more important in the sense that the laptop is going to actually work off of the phone, whatever hardware. And so the phone is the brain of the laptop. In addition to being a trackpad, because it sits right there where your trackpad is, and I think that's a smart use. And you look at like the Razer phone and how powerful it is, totally makes sense. So I think that's kind of interesting. I think that one's going to come out again. I think Lenovo had a laptop that had a phone dock in it, amongst a couple of others. So it's kind of cool.
I don't see it on here. Is that when HTC unveiled the new Vive?
They did.
Yes,
you're right. They unveiled the HTC Vive Pro, which I'm moderately surprised about. And the cool thing about this is it's wireless.
Mm-hmm. It's wireless. Add an extra camera for more depth, I guess.
Yeah, whatever that means.
So I guess you'll have 2 cameras, so obviously you can track your distance better for the room and stuff. I mean, I'm kind of happy to see this because this is the start of like the second generation of VR coming out, and this is kind of when I was thinking about this is probably when people will start be jumping on VR more often.
Yeah,
because I know the first run around was more of like a novelty thing. Like, oh, I got VR, it's pretty cool. But I mean, Sony already announced their Model 2 for the PlayStation VR a while ago, and I mean they just made it wireless and made it more streamlined and stuff like that. It didn't like change any of the internals.
Right.
It just made it more like comfortable. So I'm sure eventually Sony will obviously come out with the new one, and then I'm sure we'll see something from Oculus in a future. Yeah. It's the start of the second generation of VR headsets. So
yeah, I think wireless is the big step. Right. That's the biggest problem with VR as it is it's you have to stay connected to something, and that's that's counterintuitive to what you want it to be.
Especially for like something like the Vive, where like they expect you to be moving around in a room.
Yes.
For like, I don't know, PlayStation VR, most of the time you're just gonna be sitting in one spot or standing. You're not really moving.
Right.
So yeah, something like the Vive. That's kind of funny.
Yeah. Okay, we need to take a quick break. We need to hold on. Let me just retry that whole thing. We need to take a quick break. We'll be right back. So also at CES, AMD came out with a pretty big spectacle. They announced the Radeon Vega Mobile GPU, and their whole thing is they're trying to get into the market to compete with NVIDIA, which is a tall order, but something that they can do. And I'm not huge into tech, so I don't know everything about these processors or these units or anything. But I also know that they are teaming up with Intel to create like integrated graphics with the Vega, which is crazy. In a world where Intel and AMD are working together on things, I think is a crazy world.
It's a whole new world.
It is a whole new world. It's a brave new world.
Oh.
Where our computers talk to us. I spent probably 15 minutes last night trying to get Cortana to respond to me last night. Because you know how Windows 10 has Cortana built in?
Yep.
I definitely tried for like 15 minutes, and I finally got her to respond to what I was saying. It was the highlight of my evening.
Wow.
And it was funny. So, like, I was on Discord with Jason and Jesse, and Jason and I were playing Overwatch. And I got off, and I'm like, I've got a couple things to do. I was working on some graphic stuff. And so I, hopped off of Overwatch and then spent the next 15 minutes trying to get Cortana to talk back to me. And Jason's like, this isn't what you meant by you had things to do, is it? I'm like, no, it's not.
You just got distracted.
Yes.
Is Cortana like a Siri or like Alexa thing?
It is. So I went over to a friend's house a couple days ago, and he had Alexa.
Is that Jason again?
No. This is somebody else.
Well, Jason has one too.
Does he?
Yeah.
Of course he does. But those things are crazy. Like, we were watching Raising Arizona. We're working our way through the Coen brothers movies.
Great movie.
It is a great movie, for sure. But so we watched Raising Arizona, and halfway through, we decided we wanted to know how tall Nicolas Cage was.
It's a really random.
Totally random
thing to know.
And so we paused it, and my friend was like, Alexa, how tall is Nicolas Cage? And of course it popped up. Nicolas Cage is 6 feet and 3 inches tall. And I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. I want one of these. I just want somebody to talk to me, really.
It's funny how you bring this up, because my dad the other day, he's like, I've hit my point of technology, like my limit. The home system, Alexas and Google Homes, like that's it. That's where I draw the line. My dad's like, I've hit my peak, my pinnacle of technology, and I will not go past this point.
Yeah, I think those are really crazy things. I mean, and so the really creepy thing is you have an app, you can get an app on your phone for Alexa. She records everything you say to her. And you can play that back through the app. And that is
That's creepy.
That is Big Brother stuff right there.
Well, I saw it, I don't know if it's true, but I saw it on Facebook after Christmas. It's just got a Google Home set up, whatever, and I started talking to it, and then apparently the Google Home and Alexa started talking to each other.
Were they having a conversation?
Yeah, like it was like from like different rooms, and then
my
like
God.
it was just like, oh, the Alexa's really nice. And it's like then I heard from the other room, thank you.
Oh my God, I can't even. I would freak out. I would burn my house down.
Yeah.
And probably light myself on fire.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with my dad on this one. Like that's kind of like where I draw the line. I mean, I obviously have Siri in my pocket, who probably is listening to everything I say, and I can just be like, hey Siri, and it pops up right now.
Hold on. Let me try that. Hey, Siri.
It only works by my voice.
Shut up. Hey. Why is it's playing music?
It's playing. Oh, it just played some music apparently.
Hey, Siri. Hey, Siri. Siri. Siri.
It's not gonna work.
It's not working.
No, but hey Siri. Boop.
Hey, Siri. Play The Stroke.
The Stroke by Billy Squire now playing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Now
I
we're
like
talking.
I like Siri for that because like I can control my phone, especially if like okay, I'm gonna turn this off now.
Siri.
Well-
Pause The Stroke.
Hey Siri. It's not working. She's playing music now. But I mean, I think I find that more useful than like because like I use my phone. Oh God, stop.
You can't stop the stroke.
But I mean, like when it's across my apartment and I'm like cooking something and I need to turn on a timer, I'll just yell.
Yeah.
I'll just yell, "Hey Siri, turn on timer for 20 minutes." Don't do it. Okay.
See,
And
like, so Samsung has their version. I think it's called like Hey Galaxy. But I think I have to hold this button to do it.
see, I used to have to do that, but now like with the new phones, I think it started with like the 6S. You could just yell at it.
We are giving the government access to every part of our life.
Yeah, I mean, accept it now at this point. There's like another thing I saw. It's like I'm putting tape over my camera on my computer because the FBI agent never helped me out in 2017. I just need to cut off the toxic people in my life.
I still get freaked out about the webcam thing because I have used a webcam for streaming. And so, like, when I'm done, I take that, like, I put it away. Like, I refuse to leave that thing plugged in or facing me, even, like, not plugged in.
Do you think someone, like, wirelessly, like, turn it on?
It freaks me out. Yeah. And, like, mine, like, it glows blue when it's, like, live.
Yeah.
But still, that freaks me out. There's a Black Mirror episode.
Isn't it, like, the first episode?
That. No, the first episode is the pig episode.
I haven't watched it. So
that one's
does that mean this camera right now is recording everything we say?
Probably.
The green light's not on up top.
Yes, I'm sure that the Mac in the studio is recording everything we say. But yeah, and just for the record, if anybody who has seen that Black Mirror episode, I'm not concerned about them seeing the same things that they saw in that. It's just, I don't know. It's freaky.
I'm just kind of at the point, like, if you want to stare at my computer all day, be my guest. I'm not looking at anything. If you really just want to stare at my face all day.
Yeah, yours is in your front room. Like, mine faces my bed.
Yeah.
So, and I don't want somebody, like, watching me sleep. It's the same reason, like, I have an app on my phone, my, like, alarm clock app, that like also monitors sleep. You like put it on your bed with you and it like measures like when you're restless, and then like adjusts your alarm clock for like your sleep cycles and stuff, which is really a fascinating thing. But one of the things it does is it also records you when you're sleeping, and it starts recording when it hears like snoring or stuff, so you can like measure when that's happening. It freaked me out that I was going to like listen to that recording and hear somebody talking. And so I refuse to like, I refuse to leave that on because of that.
Like who talking? Just
I don't know exactly.
A ghost or like an actual
ghost
person?
Or a person, or I live in the neighborhood that the Prowler was a thing a couple years ago. Do you remember that?
Grant told me he met the guy in prison.
That's awesome.
Our friend Grant's not in prison. He is.
Well, he is in prison.
He is technically in prison, but not an inmate.
Yeah. So, yeah, that freaks me out. Technology freaks me out. The government freaks me out. Please don't come for me. we should probably go ahead and finish this hour.
Yes, conspiracy hour is over.
We need to go ahead and take a break and come back with the second hour of the show. So let's go ahead and jump right into some news. Some of the stuff that we missed over the break. So I want to start from this news article direct off of Kotaku that really started the year off just fantastically. We were really hoping to make it a little farther than we did, but here we go. So this is called IGN Fires Editor-in-Chief for Alleged Misconduct. Great. So the massive gaming website IGN has fired its editor-in-chief, Steve Butts, after an investigation into alleged workplace misconduct, the company said today. This was published on the 3rd, so just a week ago. IGN initiated an investigation into alleged misconduct involving Steve Butts. As a result of the investigation, the company has appropriately determined to part ways with Mr. Butts, said IGN General Manager Mitch Galbraith in a statement to Kotaku this afternoon. So this comes after 2 months after former IGN employee Callie Plagg, I'm sorry if I mispronounce that, accused her former co-worker Vince Ingenito of sexually harassing her and another woman. He was let go in March 2017. So this was the scandal that led the IGN staff to walk out. And so this kind of feels like the remnants of that and where that ended. Included later in there, in Plagg's statements about Ingenito, she'd mentioned a boss who she felt had mishandled the situation. That boss, Plagg told me in November, was Butts. He told me, quote, "Don't be so uptight about it," she said then. As I said on Twitter, he would also say things like, "I just want this unpleasantness to be over," like we were causing him a lot of problems. So we made it a total of 3 days in 2018 before some form sexual harassment, misconduct news came out.
Good job.
Yep,
Good job,
we're doing great. Well, I mean, this is obviously a huge continuation of something that happened in 2017 and earlier before that. It just feels like this is kind of where it stops, right? This is tracing it all the way to the top and cutting that out. So hopefully, I don't know. I don't know what this means for IGN as a whole. I'm not an expert on, first of all, IGN as a company or really any of those media outlets. So I don't know. This is something, at least. At least some kind of reconciliation of something that happened. So you can't sweep stuff like that under the rug.
Nope.
Like you have to be better than that. And I feel like maybe some of these people who are in these editor-in-chief positions maybe aren't trained how to do that.
I mean, he's not an HR rep probably, so I mean, maybe he doesn't know the proper maybe he didn't know how to handle this properly.
Right, and if after the fact is like, I think probably more important because that's where you learn, or because it's like before the fact, when HR is involved in stuff, you only do what you are told. But after the fact, like you have to make sure you create an environment in which everybody's supported. And from the sounds of it, like that wasn't happening. And so I think that's the big problem here. the big like the quote unquote elephant in the room, right? So let's talk about more news.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just continue down the news path. You know, it's kind of a weird time of the year. Not a ton of stuff happens. We do have a couple of weeks we can catch up on, so we're going to try to do that. But overall, it's been pretty quiet.
I mean, I wouldn't expect anything probably come out till February time, anyway. So
Yeah, and I mean most of the news outlets and stuff were on Christmas break.
yeah, so not much
So,
is going on.
Yeah.
It's that weird time of the year where like no new games are getting released or
Yeah. Unless you go to the Switch page, there's like 20 games a week getting released for the Switch right now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Just crazy. So GameSpot ran an article saying diversity in game development is not increasing. Huh. So according to the International Game Developers Association, they took basically polls of game developers and came up with the following statistics: that 81% of game developers feel diversity is important. But 71% of game developers are white, 79% are men, 86% are heterosexual. Sorry, not homosexual. 86% are heterosexual. And then when asked what needed to happen for the industry to survive, 20% said diversity. So let's just break this down a little bit. 81% of devs feel diversity is important. 20% of them said that it's what needed to happen to the industry to survive.
But I mean, you know what's crazy? But like they say, like you give up these stats and stuff, but I mean, if you look at like the whole like dynamic of the United States in general, everything but the 79% percent of men, obviously that's going to be more half and half, men and women. But it kind of follows just generally. Like I mean, the percentage of white is about 60% in the United States, maybe a little like around that area. But I mean, that's about the percentage of heterosexual people too. I mean, I think it's. I mean, you bring this up. I think it is kind of representative of like the nation we live in right now.
It's a bad representation, though.
I hate when people throw percentages and stuff out there like that.
No, I mean it's just a percentage.
Yeah, I know. It's
like
just,
this is literally polling people who work for these places and counting it up. Like these are stats.
yeah.
They're inferring it's not diverse, and you look at these stats and it's clear it's not diverse. I mean, when
all I'm saying is it
when 29% of game developers are not white, and I'm assuming this is in the United States, because obviously you're going to go to Japan, and hopefully those numbers are completely backwards.
yeah, it'll be all.
I would assume.
Well, I'm just saying this follows. What the percentage of like people in America are. I mean, it's not like it's. I think it's in my opinion, it's representing what is how America is. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It makes sense in my brain.
Yes, and I don't know.
So and to be more diverse, you have to like have an overwhelming like percentage.
No, to be diverse, it just needs to be more than the majority are straight white men. And that's exactly what happened. Like when 75 roughly % of your employees are straight white men, that's not diverse.
Yeah,
That's 3/4. Like
I'll probably ruffle a few feathers here, but a very good majority of the United States population is straight and white. So
a population.
what?
A population.
I'm just saying that the total population.
Well, a population.
What are you talking about?
Like a population of but that shouldn't have to be represented in these statistics.
Well, I'm just saying like these statistics represent equal, like they follow. I don't know what I'm trying to say here.
I'd say they probably don't. 86% of our population is not heterosexual. No way. No way. Absolutely not. that is a very hard number to figure out because sexuality is a spectrum. And at what point do you start saying you are heterosexual? But that is like that. There's no way that that's accurate. Like, especially nowadays where it's becoming more and more acceptable to be homosexual or bisexual or asexual or whatever you call yourself.
Approximately 3.4% of American adults identify themselves as LGBT,
That can't be correct.
according to the Gallup poll. And that's the numbers I hear. I mean, that's what makes sense to me.
That doesn't make sense to me, at least not
Keep
the
in mind,
reality I live in.
3.4% is still tens of millions of people.
Well, yeah, for sure.
It is no. I'm just throwing it. It is a smaller number than you are thinking in your head right now.
Nah, these numbers don't look correct to me. They can be better than that. They can be a lot better than that. Especially like, so you look at the video game community and you look at just the way that the industry treats women and treats minorities, and it's not good. It's never been good. It's getting better, but it's never been good. And so, obviously, I agree with the 81% of developers who feel diversity is important. I would be really interested to hear the arguments of the 19% of developers who think diversity is not important. How can you realistically portray life when you cut out a huge portion of it? When you underrepresent the 29% of game developers who are not white. Diversity is important. Let's leave it at that. Diversity is important. That's how you learn about the world. So, in addition to these things, they talked about job insecurity. And I think this is a huge, huge issue when we're talking about the game industry as a whole. And actually, like, I'd argue just about any art industry, really. 40% of the developers expect to be at their current employer 3 years or less. That is insanity. 20% don't know how long their job will last. And the majority of developers have been working in development less than 10 years.
Well,
That number feels less surprising to me, just because I'd say over the past 10 years, the game industry has blown up.
yeah.
And so that doesn't really surprise me. Like the fact that you can now go to colleges and get degrees in game development, that number is only going to get larger. And I don't know. I think it harkens back to a lot of concerns about game development as a life. It's tough to be 40 years old and working 90-hour weeks when you have a family. So I can see why like a lot of people would get out of game development. But the insecurity and 40% expect to be at their current employer 3 years or less. That's
and
crazy.
that literally is one game. I mean, they probably because that's what
they
happens.
probably hired game by game.
They get hired by game, and then once they finish the game, they're done. I mean, it's a simple contracting thing, like that other industries go through. You know, electricians and stuff like that. They do the same thing. They get hired on, to build something, and then once the building's over, they're done.
Electricians and stuff are a little different because they're all union based.
But it's the same.
So they have that protection.
Yeah, it's the same idea though. Like you get hired on as a contractor, and then once
I understand the contract life.
yeah. So, and then once the job's over, it's over, and then you gotta wait for the next one to roll around. So,
yeah, and when you're working for a big studio, that shouldn't be that shouldn't be the way it is.
Yeah, but I know big studios aren't constantly always making new games, though, are they?
Oh, yes. Constantly.
But, I mean, they're always broken off to different groups.
Yeah, but you're still working for a big studio.
Yeah.
Like, you think, like, Blizzard, and I can't remember, I should have put this in here, but they also rated, like, the best game, like, the best developers to work for, and I believe Blizzard was number 1. And number 2 was Valve, which Valve had been for several years, but
They don't make games anymore.
they don't make games anymore, so
Artifact.
I think they're number 2. But like Blizzard, I mean, they're constantly working on something. If you think Blizzard is not working on a game right now, you're crazy.
I mean, it probably won't come out for like another 5 years, but
But they're still working on a game. Rockstar's the same way. Even though it seems like they're only doing stuff for GTA 5, they're definitely working on games.
well, Red Dead obviously is coming out this year.
Yes.
So. I saw this thing the other day though. It was all the games that are turning like 10 this year, and from 2008, I'm like, man, there's some good games that came out in 2008. It's like, Grand Theft Auto 4. You brought that up. Fallout 3. I'm trying to think what else was in there. 2008 was a good year for games. So I just watched that little video.
That would have been maybe Modern Warfare 2. It's either 08 or 09.
That was 09.
That was World at War. 08 was World at War. Which was an okay game.
Yeah, I mean, so that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But back to you saying Rockstar, they've made 2 games in 10 years.
Yes. And partially because they took the whole
Well, I guess Red Dead came out. No, they made 3 games then.
games as a service model that everybody's trying to make work.
Yeah.
We need to take a break. We'll be right back. Since we're talking about games as a service, let's talk about Destiny 2 for a second. So Destiny 2, the game director Christopher Barrett came out and said, I read the forums, I read Reddit, I read Twitter. First of all, I'm sorry. You shouldn't do any of those things. But tomorrow is going to talk about where Destiny 2 is headed in 2018. Remember, they still have not announced the next DLC.
Which I would imagine comes out in March.
I would assume very soon.
Because that's when, I mean, that was how Destiny 1 came out. Like, game came out in September, first DLC was December, and then March was the next one.
Who knows? They may push that forward with this, like, upset people were about the first DLC. I could see them kind of trying to nudge that ahead a little bit so they make people happier.
Well, how I see this working out, I kind of voice these opinions on our Game of the Year talk. But Destiny 2, I mean, barely made our top 10.
Yes.
And because I expressed my reasons, like, if I played, I don't know. But, like, obviously the last DLC kind of sucked. I don't think the next DLC is going to be much better, to be honest, because they've already been working on it before the game released. It's like been in the works. It's going to be like what Destiny 1 did when Taken King came out. Then all the new stuff with all their feedback, all the feedback is actually like shown. And that's probably what's going to really hopefully bring the game back for me.
Yeah.
And I know for other people, I know people are feeling the same way because like Morgan, me and him played Destiny 1 on like a stupid amount I don't really want to talk about. But he's even like, I kind of want to sell the game. Or like get a refund from Amazon or something because it's not good. I don't know.
I think that's a little extreme. I think that is putting expectations of this game that are higher than they should be.
But
yes.
the problem is the expectations needed to be that high. It's the sequel to one of the biggest games, even not as much as Destiny was lacking. It was still one of the biggest games of like in current memory that came out.
Okay.
From one of the biggest studios. I mean, I think this game was supposed to have was just supposed to blow everyone away, and it really didn't. And now, I don't know, they're kind of just following the same tropes and schemes that they did with Destiny 1, and it's just not really working out.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely, there needs to be something. I just think that people tried to make this game something that it was never going to be. And which is why I probably enjoyed it more than those people. Because I never expected it to be this, like, game changer. It's just another first-person shooter. And maybe it's because I don't care about MMOs. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe all these people are like, oh, it needs to come out. It's going to be the biggest MMO released since World of Warcraft. And it's like, nah.
I think people ran with the whole MMO idea. It was never supposed to be an MMO. It had an MMO and RPG like elements with like the big online kind of thing. Even though it's not even that massively multiplayer, to be honest.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And this is coming from somebody who was like a huge Bungie fan. They created my favorite game,
Which you just played the other night.
I did. I threw in the original Halo for a little while. It was great. It brought back so many memories.
Still need to play.
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
it's
I mean, it's
game.
kind of a letdown, to be honest. I haven't played Destiny since like
It's been a while. I actually almost booted it the other day.
about October, November time.
It's because, and part of it's like, there is a big part of me that wants to switch over to PC on it, but there is nothing that is ever going to make me want to redo that loop of hitting the level that I'm at right now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I don't feel the drive to level up another character.
Maybe if it gets to the point where they did like with some of the DLCs where they give you like a fast pass for it, maybe then I'll do it. But for like, I just don't feel the urge to do that again. And I'd much rather see it on PC because I know it's gonna play and look better. So I don't know. Like Destiny 2 is a weird thing. Speaking of weird disappointments, Metal Gear Survive got a new trailer. I guess I didn't realize it released so early. It releases February 20th.
Yeah, we talked about that a while ago.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we did.
You just didn't remember. Obviously.
No, I
don't care.
Metal Gear on my list is actually very low. Like I could care less about most of it.
I know, which blows my mind. Oh, that was another game that came out in 2008. Was Metal Gear Solid 4, which is probably my favorite one.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a big year for games. I told you.
Yeah.
10 years ago was amazing.
Yeah. But 2007. No.
That's when I got my PS4. Was that year? Oh, PS3. I mean, not PS4.
Yeah. No. So they released another trailer for Metal Gear Survive. There's a beta later this month. I will play that.
I will too. I mean,
so the trailer showed stealth, like you would expect, balloons, which you would expect, because I don't remember what is that called.
the Fulton.
Yeah, the Fultons.
I mean, which was so much fun in Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. You've got that. There's zombies. There's collecting, crafting, base defense. So I don't know.
I mean, so it's building off what Metal Gear Solid 5 had, obviously with the stealth of balloons, the base defense,
right? The multiplayer
and the
version,
collecting
right.
stuff. The only new part, I guess, is probably the crafting. Because the Metal Gear Solid 5 didn't really have a crafting thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much like their multiplayer played off of that.
No, it was just a base defense.
Yeah.
Like you would go
Your oil rig, right?
Yeah, on your oil rig, you would go and like Fulton stuff in your single player game to build your base. I forget how it was.
Yeah.
Or you could like raid people's bases and Fulton their stuff. It was really, I didn't really do it much because that's not what I bought the game for.
Yeah.
That's just what.
Well, I know people who
that's
like
just what
said
Konami,
that ruined it.
That's just what Konami threw in there, and it was
It's games as a service. It's trying to get people to come back repeatedly all the time
and spend money on loot boxes.
Yes.
I'm kind of like about this game. If it wasn't called Metal Gear Survive, I'd probably be more likely to like buy this game. if it was just like a new title. But the problem is they're cashing on the Metal Gear name and like dragging it through the mud.
Yeah, we'll see.
If the game was just called Survive, I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's a cool idea.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see what actually comes of the game. We'll see how important. I'm gonna get crucified for this. How important Kojima actually was to this game.
You'll see.
He was director, sure. The story was his idea. How important is the gameplay, or how important was he to the way the game played, basically? So that's kind of where I sit on this game. I'm really fascinated to see what becomes of this. What if this game takes off? What if everybody loves it and it's a huge critical success? And then Kojima is just kind of in the other corner with Death Stranding, and everybody's like, dude, we still don't know what you're doing. Are you doing something? And then Sony's like, okay, you have spent $30 million and have given us 3 trailers
That make no sense.
that make no sense, and have flown out Guillermo del Toro like 5 times. He still doesn't know what's going on. Like, produce something like what Konami just did. That's what I'm waiting for.
No, I don't think it's gonna be. Obviously, Death Stranding is gonna be just different.
Sure.
I don't know.
I refuse to say anything solid or positive about Death Stranding because I still have no clue what it is.
I have faith.
I don't. At all. And there's something that's kind of sickening about the way that Kojima has become this larger-than-life figure in the industry. Because nobody is larger than life in this industry. It's video games.
I mean, you haven't played any Metal Gears, so like you don't understand.
But I do understand. I've never played a Metal Gear. That doesn't matter. I have watched this industry my entire life.
I mean, but like if you play Metal Gear, you'll understand like the magic this guy has. It's good. It's good. It's really good.
No game developer is that big. No game developer is that big.
It's good. He's good.
I grew up playing Miyamoto games. And Miyamoto is not that big. Like, sure, he created some of the greatest game franchises in the world. Like, no doubt about it. But you can't tell me that if he left and just decided to do his own thing, that the game would be as good as what he previously did. You can't tell me that. That's just not how the way it works. So,
I'm just saying, like, when he left Metal Gear Solid 5, you can see the moment where Konami picked it up and it just... Like, it was a day and night change on that game of where you saw where Kojima made it to, and then where Konami picked up the rest. Like, it was that obvious.
Or did he start making these stupid decisions, and they looked at it and were like, "Dude, you're losing it. What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I need another $50 million to complete this game." And they're like, "No, we already gave you $500 million. Do with what that? Like, use that money." He's like, "Oh no, I spent that on booze." And it's just probably an over-exaggeration, but you never know. You never know with these guys. And then they were like, "Okay, you can't make this game anymore. Like, we have to get a product out. You spent way too much money on 3 trailers that make no sense."
I have faith. Matt does not, apparently. Let's move on.
I have mild amounts of faith. Death Stranding has given me no reason to have faith. None. To me, that game is 3 trailers that don't make sense.
That's the beauty of it. The game is just not going to make sense. You know that, right?
But
And then you're gonna play it like, what am I playing? And
nanobots.
I'm like, this is the greatest game ever.
Nanobots.
They've already done nanobots.
Well, they're going to do nanobots again. And then they're going to be on an island that is traveling through space and time.
You just need to play all the Metal Gears right now. We are doing that. I will play
No, you
Halos.
need to play all the Halo games
will
right
do
now.
Halo
and
and-
then you're going to see genius in the worst writing imaginable, in the worst world created. That's genius. That's real game making right there. Let's take a break and come back after I take a walk. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We've got some more news to talk about. Mad Katz is back.
Yay!
Hey, so if you're looking for
Hopefully this is the year.
third-party peripherals that are just maybe made of crap,
Hopefully this is the positive year. Last year was kind of depressing with all the layoffs and closures
Yes.
and bankruptcies and stuff. But this is the start. Mad Katz is back.
Mad Katz is back. So they said they have new management, which means new ideas and a new attitude. So hopefully the idea is that they start making like higher quality stuff so that their stuff isn't falling apart constantly. Mm-hmm. And so they actually start selling units again. I guess like if I was reviving a company, that would be my game plan, at least. We'll see. We'll see what kind of market is out there for third-party peripherals.
Well, if you make a good controller that's, substantially $10, $20 cheaper than what you can buy
Yes.
a current controller.
I don't know. I looked at a controller at Best Buy yesterday when I was looking at Xbox controllers, and it had the Xbox marketing on it. Mm-hmm. Like it had Microsoft on it, but it was like a Power A controller.
It's probably like a Microsoft approved.
Yeah. And I don't know. There was just something I was looking at. I'm like, I don't know. But that was.
I've always been skeptical. Like, if I'm going to buy a controller, I'm always just going to buy, like,
I usually buy first party.
the first party controller that's, like, I know it's going to work.
Yeah. I mean, the only things that are like sometimes in the air is, first of all, obviously mice and keyboard. First party are never good. So you always want to go to another outlet.
I think it's different because obviously there's like companies that make really good ones, like
Right.
Razer and Corsair and Logitech
Right, but
and
if
stuff.
Mad Katz can get in on that,
well, maybe
and,
Mad
like,
Katz
make
can
really
start
good ones.
jumping into PC gaming. That'd be a
Right.
smart idea for them.
and I think they did, but I don't know. You just didn't see them like you did when we were growing up in every store. You just didn't see that over the last decade.
Here we go. Mad Katz is making their own console. Just kidding.
Oh, maybe.
And it's made of all plastic, like really cheap plastic. It's clear and see-through, obviously.
Right. So the one I'm looking for is a fight stick. If they want to release like a really good fight stick,
Or a driving wheel.
yeah, that would be, I think, a really good move for them. I can't think of a really good like fight stick that's easily like accessible in the United States. And so that's something that they could really go after. And that's something that they kind of had the market on, to be honest, is they were making, I think they had the Street Fighter V fight stick. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's correct. And I don't know, like with the Rock Band's Guitar Hero stuff, really just not like out there anymore.
Yeah.
Like they obviously can't do that stuff, and I think like again that's kind of what sent them under, was putting all of their all of their eggs in the Rock Band basket. And then when Rock Band switched over to PvP, it just destroyed them. So I don't know. That's a really fascinating thing to come out. They're just like, oh, hey, by the way,
I mean,
they're supposed to show some stuff at CES.
I'm not surprised, to be honest. I mean, when companies go bankrupt, it's not like the end of the world for companies.
Right.
They just restructure and obviously do what they're doing.
Right.
They consolidate all their funds and redo things.
Yeah. And yeah, they were supposed to show some stuff at CES. We'll see what that actually was. It might just be like a guy in the corner with like a trench coat that's like, hey, I'm with Mad Katz. You want to see some controllers?
I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they, do like auxiliary stuff. I mean, maybe they'll make a phone, because Razer made a phone. Could you imagine having a Mad Katz phone?
I mean, yes and no. That one's really hard for me to believe, just because they don't make hardware.
Yeah, but maybe that's.
I mean, they do,
but maybe that's like the
internal.
avenue. Maybe that's the avenue they're going to start going down.
Maybe.
You never
We'll
know.
see.
That could be what saves them.
New ideas.
The Mad Katz phone.
We should get a patent on that before they hear it.
You heard it here first. They owe me money if they do this.
Do you remember Paladins?
Yes, I played never of it. None of it.
Really? You should try some of it. It's not a terrible game.
So I feel like when you guys played it, I wasn't there, and then I downloaded it, and then you guys never played it again.
I
So
definitely deleted it the other day.
I did too, because I never played it.
Yeah. It's not bad. I mean, it's fine if you're looking for that sort of thing.
Well, it wasn't like pretty much like
It was basically
an
Overwatch.
Overwatch clone.
Yes, with cards and a couple of other systems and stuff. So they like did enough different things that it was fine. Well, their next venture is a Battlegrounds mode.
What? No one does that.
Right? So the funny thing about this is the fact that, like, so they're kind of got criticized for being an Overwatch clone.
Uh-huh.
And now they've just accepted they're just cloning games.
Yep.
And they're literally calling it Battlegrounds.
Oh.
Like, at least, like, Fortnite was, like, Battle Royale. Like,
then,
this is, like,
and then-
literally just Battlegrounds.
Wow.
So, really revolutionary ideas. You spawn 100 players onto a map. You have to work in squads. As of like when they're going to release this sometime in 2018, there's going to be no solo play. And the map keeps constricting because of fog. Which, again, insane. I know.
Maybe it's the Stephen King's Mist. There's like
Maybe.
spider creatures in there. They'll
Maybe.
kill you, so you got to stay out of it.
So,
Stephen King's Battle Royale. Get away from it and everyone.
that would be good. That would be really
He
good.
plays little kids running away from it and all the creepy creatures from Stephen King universe. It's genius. Genius.
It is. Yeah, so that's a thing. It's going to be the year of the Battle Royale. Absolutely. No doubt about it.
But I'm just saying this now. PUBG is still going to be king of all of them.
We'll see. If somebody can capitalize and do a certain thing about PUBG better, it could very well take over.
I don't know.
It's like the thing like H1Z1. Like,
King of the Kill.
yeah, so King of the Kill, which was PUBG before PUBG existed.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about it was like there were certain mechanics in it that just weren't friendly for everybody. We're talking like the crafting mechanic and the fact that you had to have an entire map full of people. PUBG did certain things. Like, first of all, you didn't have to have everybody to start a game. There was no crafting. And like I think that made it super friendly for a lot of people. And that's the thing, like I'm not a game developer. I'm not a genius about this. I don't know what it's going to be. All that needs to happen is somebody needs to have the next big idea about what Battle Royale should be and what PUBG did wrong. I don't know what that is. I mean, in a way, Fortnite capitalized on some of that.
Well, and theirs was different enough to like grab the attention of different people.
Right.
Like, I think Fortnite did a really good job of grabbing like younger people.
Younger people, it seemed more user friendly. The games were less hectic.
Well, and like even with Fortnite, like if I'm in the top, whatever, I'm just like, but like when I'm in the top of like PUBG, my heart is racing. I'm
Right.
sweating. I'm starting to shake because my adrenaline's just like in overdrive mode, and I'm just like freaking out. Fortnite, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, and not everybody not everybody wants to experience that shaking and that sweating.
Oh, I love it.
I do too. That's why I like PUBG so much more than I like
love it
Fortnite.
when my ANS just kicks in and my cortisol levels are spiking and
then
my fight and flight system is just going off the charts. It's great.
I go smash a bottle and take a shot.
Yes. I know the science behind what happens to your body. It's weird.
Right.
This is what I learned when I wrote a paper about video games and what
Yes.
what they do to you.
Mm-hmm.
Fun times.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that was, So, again, Paladins, Battlegrounds mode, it's coming out.
I'll try it, of course. If it's probably going to be free, right? I'd imagine.
I mean, Paladins is free already.
So, yeah.
The last thing I want to talk about real fast before we go to our next break, Awesome Games Done Quick is happening right now. I was watching some this morning. I've watched some here and there. I watched some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles runs this morning. And I think right now a Battletoads run is happening, which sounds incredible and crazy. But that is happening. Again, it is benefiting the Prevent Cancer Foundation. It's a great thing. It's a great time.
It's for the
if you
kids.
want to, well, it's for certain kids. It's for everybody with cancer.
That's our joke, our running joke. Not the cancer. For the kids.
That's not a joke.
For the kids
Right.
is our thing.
Right.
Because we do this for the kids.
Yes. So, if you want to see some people manipulate games in a way that you never thought possible, it's out there. It's on Twitch right now. You have to pay to comment. So, whatever you make of that, I know people are upset. Good.
Well,
Whatever.
I mean, that's probably an okay thing. Otherwise, they just be spamming.
You should see those chats.
Spamming Twitch chats. Just, ugh.
I can't even imagine being a mod in those Twitch chats.
You're just like, what's going on?
I just get rid of those chats immediately. They're terrible. They're cancer. They're cancer themselves. This is their attempt to get rid of that cancer. I don't know if that joke was in poor taste or not, but we're going to go ahead. We're going to jump into a break right now, and we'll be back. All right, we've just got a few minutes left here, so we just want to finish off with the big controversial stories of the break. Let's start with Logan Paul. So Logan Paul is a YouTuber who I'd never heard of, and apparently he has a brother who I also have never heard of.
He's Vine famous, and then went to YouTube when Vine went down. Yeah.
I'm amazed that anybody in the world is Vine famous.
He's one of the people that got famous off Vine, and then once Vine, just disappeared overnight. He became
Vine sold to Twitter.
Yeah, I think he was still doing YouTube at the same time. Like he was like a whole whatever. He's stupid.
Yeah, no, of course.
He's the appeal for like young children.
Yeah, so which makes this story like even a little more gross.
Yep.
So Logan Paul uploaded a video to YouTube that featured a dead human being. So he quote unquote found.
When I first saw this, I thought it was like a fake dead person. Like,
No, it was
like a
real.
pretend like dead, he's dead, and then I realized
No. Yeah. So he went into the forest in Japan that is nicknamed the Suicide Forest. and quote unquote found somebody who hanged themselves. Took a video of it, posed for pictures.
Yeah, not being like, oh my god, so there's a dead body. It's like, ah.
No, I did not watch the video. I
didn't
refused to watch
I didn't
it.
either, but
I hear like he like was like pretended to be shocked about it or whatever, and then like going into a place that they call the suicide forest. You're not gonna find this. And he posed for the thumbnail picture, classy, and then uploaded that to YouTube. And so people were upset. PewDiePie actually came out against it.
When PewDiePie's against something, you know it's bad.
You screwed up.
You really screwed up.
Ethan Klein was against it. I saw Boogie tweeted out against it. Like basically, apparently James Franco's brother is a YouTuber.
Dave Franco? I didn't know that. He's an actor, so I don't know.
I don't know.
If he's a YouTuber.
Or maybe it was somebody DeFranco. I don't know. That's just what I saw. People came out against this very quickly. And so finally the video got pulled. He tweeted out, "I've never faced criticism like this before because I've never made a mistake like this before. I didn't do it for views. I get views. I did it because I thought I could make a positive ripple on the internet, not cause a monsoon of negativity."
How is posing with a dead body going to be a positive ripple?
Suicide awareness. I don't know. This guy sounds dumb.
He is dumb. I mean, I
don't want to say that as like I'm ripping on this person, because whatever, everybody it's their own. But this was just a stupid act.
But someone else, like I saw, I didn't go out and actively search for it, but like it showed up on my Facebook of like his other video of him in Japan, and he is the most like immature, worst person ever. He's like running around like throwing stuff at people and being annoying, and like he just makes America look bad when he's off in like Japan doing this stuff. And this is why the countries hate us.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons. This just doesn't help.
Like he was literally running around like in a Pikachu costume throwing Pokeballs at people.
Okay, that's kind of funny.
It's kind of funny, but like it's just like it's kind of annoying.
I would do that.
But he would like, I forget what happened.
But I would do that in my own society.
He ran into like a restaurant, like into the kitchen and did it. I don't know. It was like a whole weird.
Yeah, I don't know, man. So that happens. People were upset. People are still upset. He is taking a break from YouTube. We'll see how long that goes. It never seems to be very long when these people take these quote unquote breaks.
Like, oh, I didn't make $1 million this week.
Yeah. So there's that. What was the other one I wanted to talk about? Oh, yes. Of course. How could I forget? Swatting is not okay.
No.
So I'm guessing people heard about this because it was on the regular news.
This was a big story because
this was a very big story.
Swatting has happened in the past, but this was just escalated to the point where.
Yeah, and people have died from swatting before too.
Yeah.
But this is just another bad representation of what the video game community can do. And so, it's upsetting to me. Basically, some people got in a fight over Call of Duty. The guy said he was going to SWAT him. The guy gave him a fake address, which was apparently just a couple of blocks from him. The police showed up to that address. A man answered the door, and they shot him dead on sight. And so there are a lot of problems here. First of all, swatting, bad. Maybe the cop was a little trigger happy.
Well, you don't shoot people when they answer a door.
No, usually not.
I mean, okay, I've talked about police stuff a lot.
I have a lot of respect for the police.
Oh, I do too. It's a tough job, and the stuff they go through is hard. And I know like stories where like, people like they bust into the wrong houses and like people get shot. Like there's one story that we talked about in my criminal justice class is, the police are starting to raid this house, and it's just like this old couple, and this guy thought someone was breaking in, so he's holding a shotgun at the front door. They bust in and kill him because he's like trying to defend his house,
Right.
and it was the wrong house.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
But the fact that he
bad.
just opened the door and then they just shoot him.
They said he moved to his hip or like put his hands towards his hip, but still.
Oh, it's just a bad. The agency department's going to go under fire on this. Obviously,
Yes.
that officer's going to get fired.
Yeah, and so I guess like he did get put on like whatever leave at that point.
He's probably going to
But-
lose his job.
Probably, and he probably should. Let's be real. And then so Tyler Barris, who's 25, was taken into custody in late December because he was the one who got in the argument.
He's the one that called him, right?
Well, so there were two other people in the party that heard the address, they think. And one of them may have a history of doing this. So we don't know.
So whoever called,
It's still up
called
in the
them
air.
ruined the lives of like
A lot of people.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's just sad,
Yeah.
and that's the world we live in. And I hate it sometimes.
Yes. That's all we have time for today. Unfortunately, I would love to digest this a little bit more. HQ starts in 10 seconds, so I would really like to get on that.
Oh, my.
Tune in to the Boise State esports Twitch over the next couple days. We're running several broadcasts, so do that. Make sure to subscribe to us, like us, follow us, email us,
And
do all of those things.
We do have a lot of stuff in the works that we want to do. So
We do. I have been uploading videos.
if we want to do more stuff.
Yes. So thank you all for listening. We hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll be back next week. Oh my God, it's not Scott. I don't want to play this game anymore.
Okay, bye everyone.
Bye, everyone.